Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist and four-time author, Tony Walker.
The year 1995. I was just entering my 21st year in the world of money and finance when a buddy of mine suggested I use my broadcasting degree from Western Kentucky University to start a television show about money and finance. My reaction? Well, who in the world is going to listen to Tony Walker and watch me on TV? And how in the world would I be able to afford such a show anyway? To which he replied, "Hey, haven't you heard of local origination TV? It's free." After hearing the word free, I was all ears. You see, back in the 90s, I don't know if you remember this or not, but cable television was just starting up, and the government required the local cable companies to offer a free channel called public access or local origination planning or programming. Basically, what this did was it opened the door for any and all local talent to do just about anything on air. And you thought the government's cash for clunkers plan was a bad idea. Anyway, with all of this local programming, one could stand or imagine, even zany acts like bears riding on unicycles, this was a hit because so many people now had access to free TV, yep, including yours truly, Tony Walker. So, to reminisce a little bit today, and also to share with you the success of Tony Walker Financial and what that means for you and your retirement, with us in the studio to talk more about this milestone we're going to be talking about is America's favorite financial sidekick who introduced the show with the number 400. Aaron, first of all, good afternoon to you.
Hey, good afternoon to you. I almost said good morning, but it is not. It is afternoon time.
Been a long day here on January 26th, 2022, and the reason it's been a long day is we just got through recording I'll let you share which number TV show we just recorded today.
Well, drum roll please, Derek. Thank you very much. Tony, we just finished recording our 400th television episode of the Worry-Free Retirement. So first and foremost, just want to say congratulations to you.
Well, congratulations to you because in case people don't know much about our television show or my history with Aaron and I'll go through a laundry list of things here. This is going to be a good show. To hang in there with me. We're not going to just sit and toot our horn all day long here, but it's worth noting that when I met Aaron, it was with a large television station here in Louisville, Kentucky. Back then, I was the featured retirement specialist on a show called Wave 3 Listens Live, and Aaron worked there and began working on the set. And then I got permission from Wave to hire Aaron away in 2013-ish?
2013, yeah.
Because I wanted to start my own show, The Worry for Retirement, and Aaron came along, and I think, Aaron, you even said it was a pretty big leap of faith. I don't think I realized it. Probably was a tough decision for you to leave the comfort of a television station and follow around a little man in a sweater vest thinking, what in the world are we going to do producing our own TV show? Do you remember much about those days?
Yeah, I remember those first couple of days. So, first and foremost, just want to say thank you for taking a chance on me and you took a leap of faith with me. You didn't know a whole lot about me. We worked for a couple of years together on that particular show, but I think the first time you and I ever spoke, I hope this doesn't embarrass you or whatever. I think the first time you and I ever actually spoke to one another was in the men's restroom.
Oh,
and
gosh.
What had happened was, you're pretty generous. You're a pretty generous guy. I'll go ahead and say that. I'll go ahead and embarrass you and just let people know that you're pretty generous. And I was working for the television station at the time, and around Christmas time, you brought in gift cards for all the crew.
I
Everybody
that,
got
yeah.
I don't remember what it was, like a $20 Panera Bread gift card or whatever. And everybody got their own. It's not like you brought in a $20 gift card for 10 people and said, all right, now you all enjoy that or anything. And, I picked up my card and, went to the restroom and, we both just happened to cross paths in the restroom, and I just remember looking at you, and I was like, "Thank you, sir, for the Panera gift card." And you're like, "Oh, you're welcome." And that was like the first time you and I officially spoke to each other.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. So a couple of months later, you were looking for a media director, someone to take over, kind of start a media production company, and you and I met a couple of times, and yes, it was definitely a huge leap of faith on my part. A lot of prayer, a lot of discussion with Jessica. You even kind of sort of semi-interviewed with Jessica.
Right.
You were like, I want to bring in Jessica. I want to meet your family. I want us to get to know one another. And I remember that and just thinking like, wow, this is kind of different, but I'm on board with it. And another funny story, and then I'll shut up.
That's good.
I remember one of the first times we started this whole interview process was right around the time the Kentucky Derby runs. And for the particular television station that I was working at, I had a lot of stuff going on that week, a lot of meetings, a lot of going out and filming things. I mean, I barely
You
had
all
time.
covered the Derby, right?
Yeah. I barely, but there was there's a lot, for those of us who, people who are listening, that Kentucky Derby week, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, they let school off on the Friday before. I mean, that's just how busy it gets around here in town. And, I just remember that was just a really swamped week for me. And you called me, and I don't remember exactly what you said on the phone call, but you were like, well, why don't you come by tomorrow, say about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll sit down for a couple minutes. Well, my day was starting at like 6 the next day, and I was like, and I felt so bad. I was like, man, here I am. I'm about 2 interviews into this, job interview, and I got to tell this guy, no, I can't make that. So I just told you, I said, sir, with all due respect, this is a really busy week. Can we possibly push this to, next Tuesday? And you were like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Well, that's fun to go down memory lane. Yeah, so basically, Aaron and I, for almost 8 years, or just over 8 years, we just recorded our 400th episode. Now we're back to the radio show, which I'm going to cover what we covered in the TV show. But Aaron, on a radio show, we've been doing this a while too. What is this particular episode as far as our radio show?
So, we didn't start doing the radio show at the same time we started with the television show. So this is radio show number 267. Still a big milestone, though. That's a lot of radio shows.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Also, too, I wanted to go over, you said that we had a phone call coming in. Did I say something about letting a phone call come in?
Yeah, now
I'm confused.
I wanted to remind you because, last week's episode has come and gone, but, you had mentioned last week that, you had a special caller that was calling in today.
Okay. We did that on the TV show. Didn't we tell somebody that I think what we said on the TV show, if you're one of those people that's listened to me the longest, call in.
Right.
I don't remember saying that. Apparently I did. So do we have somebody on the phone now?
Yeah, we've got somebody that's been listening to you for decades now. He couldn't even remember how long it's been, but it's been a couple of decades, as long as he's been listening to you. Gentleman by the name, hold on, I got it written down here, folks. Elwood P. Gold Rush. Now, I don't know what the P stands for. That's how he said it, and I thought, all right, I'll say it how you say it, sir. So, Elwood P. Gold Rush.
Okay, this is crazy. I think I remember who this is. Aaron, this takes me back when I mentioned broadcasting. I was majored in broadcasting at Western and worked at a little radio station just south of Bowling Green, Kentucky, WFKN Radio, a 250-watt powerhouse. And worked weekends, put on the preachers, all that stuff, spun records. And there was a guy that called in down there. Now, this Aaron was 40-plus years ago, Elwood P. Gold Rush. So I got to talk to him. Is he really on? Can we pipe him through?
Yeah, he's on. He's listening right now.
All right, let's let it rip. I can't wait. Hello, this is Tony Walker. Hello?
Hello, this is Elwood.
This is Elwood Gold Rush. Wait a minute, who called into that radio show I hosted 40 years ago in Franklin, Kentucky? You got to be kidding me.
Tony, it's Elwood, alive and a-kicking. How you doing, partner?
Well, I mean, it's great to hear from you too, Elwood. How can I help you?
Yeah, I got a question. How come you ain't a-warning everybody about the dangers of that crypto?
Well, wait a minute. Elwood, while I wouldn't recommend crypto for savers, it might be fine for investors and speculators. I mean, that might be okay.
Well, Tony, the way I figure, if crypto could kill Superman, it could kill anyone, right?
Elwood, I think you're talking about kryptonite. What I'm referring to is cryptocurrency.
Oh, never mind. Talk to you later, Tony.
Oh, Okay, well, good talking to you too, Elwood. Whew, folks, after that interview with Elwood, I got to take a break. We'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no obligation appointment. Let us help you today. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. Tony Walker here, and we are celebrating actually our 400th episode of the television show, The Worry-Free Retirement. Some of you may not be familiar with that show. We're on in 7 different stations throughout Bowling Green, Louisville, and Lexington, Kentucky. But also, you can watch past episodes on our YouTube channel. So, Aaron, real quickly before we get into the meat of today's program, tell them how they can watch those episodes.
Sure, no problem. Folks, it's really easy. If you want to watch past episodes, all you got to do is get online and go to youtube.com. That's youtube.com. And when you get there, right up there at the search bar, all you got to do is type in Tony Walker Financial. Tony Walker Financial. Click search, and there you go. Boom, you'll see Tony's smiling face. Click on there, and you're going to find, not only are you going to find past episodes of the Worry for Retirement, you're going to find all types of video content. We've got past workshops on there. We've got, I don't know if we have any Elwood P. Gold Rush commentary on there or not. I don't think we do. We've got past webinars. We've got past questions people have asked. We've got all kinds of video content with all types of information for you.
Well, thank you, Aaron. And as we get into the meat of our program, this is kind of a follow-up from another Tony in the Trenches we had. This one comes from Helen out of Southern Indiana, who writes, Tony, I watched a recent episode of the Worry-Free Retirement where you talked about some advisors' main goal is to just grow their practice so they can one day sell it. She basically says, I don't want to put my money with an advisor unless they're going to be there with me for the long haul. If I do work with you, Tony, and your firm, Tony Walker Financial, how do I know you're in it for the long haul and you're not just going to sell it one day and walk away with the money and leave me high and dry? Well, first of all, it's a great question because there's nothing wrong or unethical with an advisor wanting to grow their practice and sell it, but that is the motivation for a lot of advisors. They have no intention of working way into retirement, such as I. I love what I do. I'm very grateful for what I do. As we just went through, I've been in this almost 38 years, continually see anywhere from 20 to 30 people a week. Lord willing, I'm going to do this as long as the cows come home. I'm serious about that. However, still, all of this comes down to, no matter who you decide to turn your life savings over to, it comes down to trust. Who are you going to trust with this money? And the only way to know if you can trust somebody is you have to know something about their character, their integrity, how wise they are, and also their credentials. This is very, very helpful. So what I thought I would do, and Aaron, I know you and I have talked about this, and I covered this on the TV show, but this is so important. What I'm running into is people who come to us for a second opinion, and many of them have already committed their life savings to an advisor. It sounded good on the front end. Maybe it was too good to be true. We're seeing a lot of people push these real large bonuses and things like that and not explaining to people the caveats and how you can get stuck in some of these contracts. Many people selling annuities are not fiduciaries. We're going to talk about that. Pretty scary stuff. So there's a lot of people out there that are really under no scrutiny, under no government oversight, which we are as fiduciaries. So what I thought I would do is list the 10 main questions you need to ask an advisor before you turn over your life savings. These are just basic questions. And we do have a white paper on the website in case you're driving down the road and miss these. You can go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and we'll have that highlighted. It's a download, and it basically is 10 questions to ask your financial advisor. So let me go over these because this is really important. All right, here we go. First question, before turning over your life savings, is that person a fiduciary? Now, if they say they're a fiduciary but won't give you documentation or what's called Form ADV Part 2, they're not a fiduciary. So you got to think long and hard about why you would want to give your money to somebody who is not required by law to work in your best interest, which is the definition of a fiduciary. Number 2, Is the person you're getting ready to work with independent or captive? Now, what I mean by that is, for instance, Tony Walker Financial, we are our own corporation. I own the corporation. Although we place money with Charles Schwab, although we place money with insurance companies to purchase annuities, we do not work for any of those companies. We are not captive to them. We don't have employee agreements. They can't tell us what to do. We are there working for you. You are who we work for. We just happen to work with companies. There's a big difference, and yes, we are independent. Number 3, we just mentioned that. What are their credentials? I mean, years ago, I've successfully matriculated through the College for Financial Planning CFP educational program, the American College's CLU program. I've studied under some of the brightest minds in the industry. That's because I wanted to learn what I was doing and to be credentialed. So if you're talking to somebody that's wanting to handle your life savings and you've got the option to work with somebody that's a fiduciary, independent, and has credentials, and somebody who doesn't, well, I don't know if that were me. I'd rather have somebody who has experience, credentials, and is independent. That's just me, though. Number 4, have a written game plan. So before, a lot of advisors out here are pulling this one on you. They won't give you a written game plan. Think about this, Aaron. See if you'd like this idea. Won't give you a written game plan unless you turn over your money to them. That would be like going in to get a set of tires and them saying, we're not going to give you the estimate until you pull in here and let us put the tires on and charge you. Then we'll tell you what it's going to cost you. That wouldn't make any sense, would it?
No.
Okay, so you want a written game plan. We will do that for you free of charge, and you're under no obligation to purchase anything. Let's see, number 5, what are their fees? Are they on commissions, fees, or both? Okay, well, you got to know that. We'll tell you that. We work both on fees and commissions. Our fees through Charles Schwab, 0.8% a year. That's about half, sometimes a third of what a lot of people charge, but very, very low fees. And then we do work on commissions, but we work with several different insurance companies, and we'll be happy to share with you the actual commissions we make on our products. We are totally transparent. We don't mind telling you that. Those commissions are paid to us by the insurance companies that we use, though. That does not come out of your pocket up front. If they do charge fees, are those fees in writing? Do they provide the percentages? That's number 6. Most people will not do that. That's a bad sign if your advisor won't put those fees in writing and clearly explain them to you. Number 7, are there other people charging fees? And if so, what are those fees to manage your money? Now, this is a biggie, because a lot of people will say, yeah, the advisor said he just charges 1%. I said, well, that's fine. What are the other fees? Oh, there's no other fees. Well, that's almost impossible. Even through our Schwab platform, there's some small fees that Schwab has to charge. So again, you got to know which question to ask. What are their fees? Who are the other parties that might be charging fees? And you want to see those fees as well. Again, this is just going to help you save a lot of money is all we're trying to do here, folks. Number 8, you need to ask this question. Once I meet with you, if it's a senior advisor or the owner of the company, you got to come right out and ask them, will I have access to meet with you again? Okay, repeat that. If somebody comes in and works with us at Tony Walker Financial and meets with Tony Walker, they will have access to meet with me anytime they request. I don't take the money and run and hide or head out to the golf course every day. I'm there to help my clients, all right? Number 9, if something happens to you, that's you, the client, you pass away, you or your spouse die, whatever, is that advisor going to be there to assist with the paperwork for the accounts the advisor's written so that the beneficiaries can have a smooth transition of that money from your account when you pass away to them? And yes, we will do that free of charge for our clients. For any accounts we manage or handle, we will handle all of the claim paperwork. Huge issue, and I've got one staff member dedicated to that process, and against a free service. And finally, if they do sell annuities, okay, get a breakdown of how many companies they sell, how much money they put with these companies, and then what the commissions are on the different products so you can understand. Now, sometimes the best products are the highest commission. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you need to understand why. And what you'll find is a lot of people put most of their business with one company and one product because of the commissions. And unfortunately, that happens time and time again. So when I come back here, I'm going to break down our year in review in 2021 and show you how we broke down everything and why we are just simply trying to find what's in your best interest by trying to find the product that's right for you. Okay, we're talking about the TV show, but this is a radio show, so I'm going to do my best when I get back. I've got the whiteboard here, and I'm going to talk about philosophy plus process equals plan, and why that is so important in your plans for a worry-free retirement. I'm Tony Walker. You stay tuned. We'll be right back. With the stock market at all-time highs, our nation's debt through the roof, and inflation racing out of control, now may be the best time to consider safeguarding your money. That's why I'm offering to review your 401k and other retirement accounts to be sure that you aren't taking too much risk and you're not going to run out of money. To set up your free meeting with me, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Whether you're a longtime viewer of the Worry-Free Retirement or just catching us for the first time, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all of our latest educational content and previous shows of the Worry-Free Retirement. Also, don't forget about our blog page at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You know, I've made it my mission to help savers worry less about money, and we want to help you too. Let us know how we can help by logging on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. Tony Walker here. I hope you're enjoying today's show. I guess, as I think back, as we're kind of in retrospect, we just recorded our 400th episode of the television show, The Worry-Free Retirement. But also after producing more than 250 episodes of Your Money Matters, that was the local origination channel show that I did in the 90s, early 2000. After recording, well, I wasn't recording, it was a live show that I did with a NBC powerhouse here in Louisville, did over 300 shows with them. And now 400 shows with the Worry-Free Retirement plus the radio show. Here's the one thing I would reflect on after meeting with more than 15,000 savers and working this hard to consistently do what we do. And that is, in life, if you will keep your hand to the plow, if you will work hard, if you'll work smart, if you'll do the right thing, if you work hard, I'm telling you, things will turn out fine. In fact, the Bible uses the term plow, and it's the means of plowing up a field and planting. And really what I found in life, it really is about sowing and reaping. So what you sow, a man shall reap. So what I'm going to share with you now, and we're not trying to be braggadocious, folks. I am very grateful for what I'm going to share with you. I'd never assume that this will happen again. I don't set goals in our business for production. I'd never have worked that way. I just work really hard, try to see a lot of people. We try to work mainly with savers because the products and the services and what we do for them is geared towards savers, not investors and speculators. So again, I'm not trying to brag. I just want to show you the secret sauce, and that is, first of all, that the advisor must have a philosophy. The second thing for an advisor to be successful and help you be worry-free is they have to have a process. And finally, the third leg of that stool, it's not the first, it's the third. Once you have an advisor who has a strong philosophy you can relate to, once that process is explained to you and it makes sense to help you be worry-free about retirement, then, and only then, do you implement the plan. So let's talk about our philosophy, and it is the live well, die broke philosophy. It's been born out of, being around my granddad when he retired in 1978 from the phone company. It's been born out from working with thousands of savers. It's been born out from seeing all these stock market corrections and ups and downs and people worried sick over their money. And we're all about trying to keep the money safe, then return second. We're not trying to compete with the stockbrokers. We're not trying to make you a gajillionaire. We're just trying to keep your money safe so that you can use and enjoy this money before it's too late. And Aaron, I think you've heard me say this. One of the things that I've noticed over the years is the vast majority of people I run into don't have a game plan to spend their money. And they wait too long to spend it. Just got a call the other day. A spouse is my age, is probably not going to make it. She's very ill right now. 6 months ago, she was fine. So folks, you never know. So you need a plan in place, a process. And let me explain what it is with Tony Walker Financial. I call this our split IRA process. And man, has this been a humdinger. So generally, we can use it for anything. You could use this for money languishing in the bank. You could use it for an inheritance you just received. But mainly where we use this the most is when we're doing something called 401k rollovers. Now, that could be an old 401k you had at a previous employer. If you're over the age of 59 and a half, you can do what I'm getting ready to describe to you. If you have a lump sum pension available, we just did one of those the other day, roll that over into this process. Or if you have an existing IRA at another custodian that you're not happy with, maybe there's no philosophy, process, or plan in place, and high fees, or whatever the problem is over there, no service, you could do this. So here's how it works. The money comes over to Tony Walker Financial. That doesn't come directly to us. In most cases, it's first going to go to Charles Schwab. That's the custodian we use. And then possibly some or a lot of that money could go to a fixed annuity for no risk and no fees. And if we do add income, there'll be a slight fee. We can get into that when we meet. But that's generally how it works. But this process that we manage, the Charles Schwab and the annuities, does two things. Number one, it gives you maximum flexibility to use and enjoy your money now with complete access to a good portion of it. But secondly, just in case you live a lot longer than you thought, which that's the greatest fear, is running out of money, this process allows you to enjoy your money without the fear of ever running out of it. Let me say this, on a guaranteed basis, assuming you have an annuity in place, especially one that has what we call mailbox money, that money is guaranteed to last as long as you do. And best of all, there are 15 full-time employees at Tony Walker Financial dedicated to this process. In other words, if you call our office and you're a client, we call up your game plan. It's a proprietary game plan that we would have. Everybody's going to be on the same page immediately, and then we follow the game plan. See, most people that come into me don't have a game plan. They don't have a process. They just got a bunch of products. And folks, you could have the best products in the world, but if you don't know how to use those products, you're going to be out of luck. It'd be kind of like, Aaron, you play golf, don't you?
I do, occasionally, yeah.
No, you know how much I'm into golf, right?
Yep.
Okay. I have fallen into this trap occasionally thinking that if you just gave me a real good set of clubs, I would be a better golfer. Now, on the surface, that sounds okay, but what do you think really and truly new clubs would help in the way of score? Maybe a one or two strokes.
Maybe a stroke or two. Maybe.
Okay, but let's say I was an average golfer, but for the next year, I worked with one of the best teachers in the world, and they worked on my swing, and I used an old set of clubs. How much would that help my game, you think?
Right, you could drop 8 strokes.
There you go. So clubs are important, products are important, but let me tell you, swing and how to use those products is the key to scoring well, not only in golf, but in retirement. So just to give you a rundown in our remaining time, let me tell you how well our process has worked and the faith and confidence, the number of clients we have. First of all, in just the year 2021, all we're talking about is 2021. Let me give you some numbers. In our Charles Schwab department, we opened over 420 new accounts, and a total of $57 million came in just to Charles Schwab. Okay, that's just for 2021. And a lot of that, not all of it, but a lot of that was through the split IRA process because people understood it, and then they had the game plan to understand what we're going to do with the Schwab. And again, we handle all this internally, so everything's under one roof. Something happens to you, your spouse or your beneficiaries call us. You don't have to call Schwab. We keep track of everything. And again, one reason I think it's been so popular is the fees are so competitive at 0.8%. So that's product number one, and we'll show you through our process how we do that. Now, the other product, which we're known around the country for because of the amount of production I've done, is something called an annuity, which is a contract issued by insurance companies. And over the past 20 years, I've written just over $500 million of annuities personally. This past year, Aaron, I think you've seen this figure, we wrote, this is really weird, almost the exact same numbers as Schwab. We wrote over 400 annuities, new annuities for 2021, and the premium was just over $57 million. So that means in 2021, over $114 million came in to Tony Walker Financial in the way of annuities and the Charles Schwab. And here's what's interesting. We mentioned earlier, make sure the annuity person selling the annuity represents several companies. We had, out of that $57 million, there was some small amounts going to some companies, but most of it went to 6 different companies. 3 of those companies got about 20 to 23% of that market share each. So for various reasons, we use different companies. And then 1, 6%, 9%, and 18%. So very diversified group of annuities we use based on the customer's needs, not on what commissions or whatever we're going to make. So folks, if you're riding down the road saying, boy, this sounds great, I wish I could just meet with Tony, talk to Tony, see how he can help me. Well, that's the best part of all, because to do so, it's absolutely free. So let me invite you to do this. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com, or give us a call at 877-499-9255. Well, between now and next week, Aaron, once again, thank you for all your hard work and the 400 episodes. But you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.